And now, with the dim lit news, here's Mr. Chris with the smartest talk. Hey there, brilliant bros and babes, and welcome to the smartest talk. I'm Mr. Chris, aka your host to this wonderful show. Tonight I'd like to share with you a story that warmed my heart and made me feel real good inside. And I think that that's something that needs to be spread in these troubling times that we are experiencing today. So, without further ado, I'm not sure how familiar you people are about the dancing bears routine that has been popularized by carnivals and traveling acts over in the East. No, not New York, Virginia, and Florida, not the East Coast. I mean the Eastern Hemisphere, like Asia, Europe, all that stuff. Not so much Africa, or probably not Australia as well, as bears kind of limited in supply there, to my understanding. I digress. Over the course of the last couple of decades, animal rights activists have been rescuing these bears from their horrible, abusive, circus environments, because this is another instance of the horrible circus abuse of animals thing. We've all heard that story a lot with elephants, right? Nobody talks about the bears. Anyhow, that is not what we are here to talk about today. What we are here to talk about today is a wonderful little video that came across the news either this week or last. These bears all get moved by the activists to a reservation in India, for the most part. And, a truck comes to drop off food for them. And before the truck was able to reach its drop site, the bears decided they were going to gang up, chase it down, and try to get at that sweet, sweet nosh a little early. So, they caught that on video, and it's just, like I said, it's heartwarming, it's cute, it's hilarious, it's amazing. I love it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. If you guys want to check it out, feel free. I'm sure you can find it on the news websites if you go back a little ways, or, just YouTube. I'm positive it's got to be there. Anyhow, that out of the way of our real news portion, I'd like to talk to you guys about what I've been doing to stay busy during quarantine. Yeah, it's been a hard, long haul for all of us, and it's probably not coming to a close anytime soon, unfortunately. There's, a number of things I've been doing to keep sane and all that, because I'm a pretty busy guy most of the time, got lots of crap to do, but with limited hours and limited occupancies and, even some stuff still being completely closed, hasn't exactly been a very busy year for me. So, the biggest and most glaringly obvious thing that I've been doing to stay busy during quarantine must be starting this show. Something I've been aspiring to do for a number of years. I took a first crack at it about 5-6 years ago on my Facebook account, back when I had Facebook. Those of you who were my friends on Facebook at the time may or may not have seen it. It followed a similar concept, but not the same, or any construct for that matter, as this show. And, it's been fun. Sorry that I've missed a couple weeks, and I'm suffering for that. I'm having a hard time putting this episode out. I've taken a lot more cracks at the rehearsals, and just, it hasn't been a fun re-entry to the process. Anyhow, I've also been back into arts and crafts, which is something that I've been doing for all my life, essentially. The helmet that was featured back in episode 6 during the Dim Lit Art Show is one among numerous things that I've been working on during quarantine. I'm also trying my hand at woodworking, making a stool. For those who are local, if you recall the great big windstorm that happened, I think about a month and a half ago-ish, like huge, giant, horrible winds that was knocking down trees and all that stuff. It knocked down some branches in my yard, and I'm converting some of those branches to a stool. It's been fun. We'll see how it all turns out. You never know. Might end up being my seat for the show eventually. And another thing that I've been doing is watching some movies, some new to me movies. They are of varying ages. I don't know how new any of these are, except for one in particular. The first of which I'd like to talk about would have to be A Quiet Place. It's a good little horror film. Came out a couple of years ago. Like I said, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years ago, something like that. It's about a post-apocalyptic Earth type of scenario where there are these creatures running around. They're hypersensitive to sound, so everybody's got to be extra quiet. And it follows this one particular family, and they do their thing. I like the movie a lot. The ending, I wish could have been a little different, but it is what it is. Bumblebee is another movie that I've watched, and that one's kind of another story on as far as my opinion goes. It was a decently written movie, decently written. It was good, It was fine. It had its good aspects, but I personally prefer the original Transformers films as opposed to this one. And I know that within the greater superhero genre of movies and whatnot, there's, alternate universes and alternate timelines where things are, obviously very different. Into the Spider-Verse really hit home on that for a lot of people who were unaware. I was previously aware, but it's a good example that really lays it out for people. Anyhow, with that said, I know there's going to be differences. I just wasn't a big fan of those differences. Wasn't very much my cup of tea. Like I say, it was an okay movie, and it had its high points for sure. But overall, it's all right. I give it something between a 4 and a 6. I'm debating. I'm on the fence. Another one that kind of falls into that similar category, I suppose, would have to be the latest addition to the Pirates of the Caribbean series, Dead Men Tell No Tales. It's Pirates of the Caribbean, so it's part of the franchise as a whole. It's not like an additional film as Bumblebee was. And it was okay, it had, Captain Jack Sparrow and his crazy hero and their misadventures and all that stuff. It was pretty good, but I don't know. It had callbacks to some of the older characters. Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann had 3 whole scenes that they occurred in between the two of them. Or, well, 2 scenes technically, but I guess I'm counting Will and Elizabeth, even though they occurred in the same scene. You get the point. They don't show up in the movie barely at all. Even though they're, pretty relevant. Honestly, they're, the driving force for the kid that's running around. Watch it for yourselves. See what you think. It's totally up to you. Another movie that I've watched, this one I know is brand new, is Candace Against the Universe. It's a Phineas and Ferb film. I was always a pretty decent fan of Phineas and Ferb. I liked it a lot when I was, teen, younger, preteen. I don't remember when that show was out. Anyway, it was a good show. Liked it a lot. My son currently watches it. It's pretty good. And this film is a really good addition to the franchise, I believe. It is reminiscent, to those who are familiar, it is reminiscent of the Queen of Mars episode. It expands on that whole idea and really builds it a lot, I think. I enjoyed it a lot. Lastly here, we've got the newer Fantastic Four film. This one, I like that movie a lot. I liked that movie a lot. It was very, very enjoyable to me. Like I said before, this follows an alternate timeline or universe or whatever. And it was good. I like it a lot. It was well written. I, like character changes and all that stuff. The one thing that I did not like was Victor Von Doom's new design as Doctor Doom. Did not like that. Not at all. I'm sorry. Y'all can throw me some heat down in the comments section. Whatever. I didn't like it. That's one man's opinion, and I'm putting it out there. That's the way I feel. I like the movie a lot overall, but Victor Von Doom in his Doctor Doom, gross. Nope, not for me. And the very last thing that I have been doing during quarantine, my godsend, has been Pokemon. Yes. Pokemon games and media have been huge for me. I've put in countless hours. I mean, hundreds. I don't know how much. I'm sure that it's not 1,000, but it's closer to 1,000 than 10. So, I've played several of the games, put in many hours in different games, and I've been watching a lot of my favorite Poketubers, M&J TV, Pokemon 7, True Green 7, Emperor Cubone, even a few odd videos from Mystic Umbreon, whom I am not subscribed to. You guys can think I'm a man-child all you want. That's what I like. It's an immersive community and universe, and it's amazing. I let it consume a lot of my time. So, chew on that. And with that said, I'm going to leave you guys with this comment question. What movies have you been watching during quarantine? Because, we've all got plenty of time to sit on our couch now, even if most of us, if not all of us, are back to work. Let me know in the comments section below. And until next time, brilliant Broken Bold Nation, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and tune in for tomorrow's episode.